Very good morning to all of you. Let me welcome you all for this English class. So in this video, you are going to learn three things. The first one is the book back exercises of the poem Mccavity. The second one, from the vocabulary junction, you are going to learn two poetic devices. Okay, one is alliteration, another one is assonance, and third one in the pronunciation junction, you are going to learn what is contraction. Okay, so now let's move to the video. So now let's start from the page number 71. Okay, look at the questions which is in the page number. So let me start from the get going in your book. So look at the section A. Let us find the answer from the poem. Okay, the first question is, which of these names has the poet not given to Mccavity? So one among the name was not given by the poet to Mccavity. So we have to pick it out. So look at the options: hidden paw, monster of depravity, griddlebone, and Napoleon of crime. But the answer is griddlebone. Okay, but you have to look at the word depravity. So depravity means most corruption. Okay, now let me move to the second question. Look at the second question. The second question is, which of these organization has not been affected by Mccavity? So look at the option. Option A, Secret Service. Repeat the option. Option A, the Secret Service. Option B, the Flying Squad. Third one, the Foreign Office. Fourth one, the United Nations. But the correct answer is the United Nations. So now we are going to learn the question third. Okay, look at that. Write a brief description of Mccavity based on your understanding of the third stanza. So in the poem, okay, so you know very well. So in the third stanza, what is that? The physical features of the cat, okay, the cat Mccavity was described by the poet. So now let me begin the first point. Mccavity is a ginger colored cat. The first point is about its color. Okay, it is in ginger color. Next one, he is very tall and thin. He can be recognized from his eyes, which are deeply sunken in. Actually, the sunken eyes are quite common. So due to our age, okay, so being aged and drowsiness, and if you don't have a proper sleep, lack of sleep, so that leads to sunken eyes. Sunken eyes means eyes goes inside. Okay, eye goes inside. The next point, so he has lines on his forehead steeped with thoughts. He has a high domed head and his coat is untidy and the whiskers uncombed. So what is the ideas of the line? The first one is he was always thinking. Okay, so always he used to think. So that's why he had some lines on his forehead. And second one, about his head, okay, which is looks like a hemispherical shape. Okay, so the meaning of the word, a highly domed head, look at that. So maybe a bald head or a hemispherical shape. The next one, his coat is untidy, and another one is whiskers. Whiskers, you know very well, usually lion and even a tiger, cat, okay, these animals, they have whiskers. So the whiskers uncombed. So this is about the appearance. So let me move to the last point. Mccavity moves like a snake. Third point is about his movement. So Mccavity moves like a snake, and whenever he is mistaken to be asleep, he is wide awake. So his sleeping time is very less, but even though if he started to sleep, at the time also he was very conscious. Okay, so he is wide awake. And now let's move to the next question. The next question is, make a list of crime the Mccavity has committed. Okay, so already you have learnt, so let me list out you now. So he has looted. Looted means stolen. Okay, what he has looted? He has looted food from the larder. Okay, underline the word. The larder, you know very well, either a place, either a room or a cupboard which we used to safe or which we use to store food items, that is known as the larder. So from the larder he has stolen the food items. The next one, he rifled, you know very well, shoot. Okay, he rifled the jewel case. And the next one, he consumed all the milk in the particular area. Next one, he stifles, underline the word stifle means suffocate. Okay, make someone to suffocate. Suffocate means difficult to breathe. Okay, so to whom he suffocated? Look at that. He stifles Pekingese dogs. Pekingese is a kind of a breed, okay, a kind of Chinese breed dog. Okay, it's a type of the dog. So he stifles Pekingese dogs and he breaks the greenhouse glass and destroy the trellis. So you know very well the greenhouse glass. The greenhouse glass, which means a glass surface, okay, a glass structure which is enclosed for the cultivation purpose. Okay, that is known as the greenhouse glasses. Okay, in the particular area all the greenhouse glasses were broken by our Mccavity. And the next one, he destroys trellis also. Trellis also you know very well, either a metal or a wooden framework used to support for trees or a creepers. Okay, in the especially in the gardens, especially in the garden or even the nurseries. Okay, but here even the greenhouse. The third point, so when the foreign officers find a treaty gone astray and Admiralty Loss some plans and drawings, they think that it must be Mccavity. So let me tell you what is treaty. So treaty is nothing but a written document or a written agreement between two countries. Okay, so now what happens? So that agreement was missing. Okay, it has been taken and look at the lines. So the treaty is gone astray. Astray, you know very well, astray means away from the correct path or a direction. So now it is mislocated. Okay, so this is the one of the thing, and another one is the Admiralty Loss. Admiralty, you know very well, the naval administration. So they lost some plans and a drawing. You know very well the importance of the map which we kept in the naval administration. Some very important plans and a drawing also. What is that? Also taken by the Mccavity. So they think that it must be Mccavity only. The person who has done everything is only. Now let me move to the fifth question. Look at the fifth question. Who are Mccavity and Criddlebone? How are they related to Mccavity? You know very well the two peoples are the agent of Mccavity. So they usually help him. So when he is stealing, okay, so when he is in the theft, they usually help him. Look at that. So Mccavity and Criddlebone are just agents of Mccavity. They just help him control his operations. Operation here refers to only the stealing process. So now let's move to the next section. The next section is let us read between the lines. Okay, look at the first question. Why it is useless to investigate Mccavity? Okay, here they have given some reason. Okay, for why we don't want to investigate about Mccavity, because it becomes useless. So look at the first point. It is useless to investigate Mccavity as he leaves any evidence at the scene of crime. So he doesn't leave any evidence at the spot. Okay, so when the police or when the other people they start to investigate, they couldn't get any evidences from the place because he doesn't leave any evidences on spot. So this is the first point. Look at the second one. So look at the second point. It is as if he was never there. So with the help of the proofs, he could claim that he was not in the particular place. And one more thing, he always has an alibi and a one or two to spare. So first know the word alibi. You know very well alibi is nothing but a piece of evidence. Okay, so the piece of evidence that one was elsewhere when the criminal act is happened. Okay, so usually you know very well in some movies we could see. Okay, some people in order to prove themselves they used to show some alibi. At that time I was not here, I was in some other places. So look at my passport, look at my ticket, so look at my photos. So like this, with the help of some proofs, our Mccavity also can easily escape from the problem. So he doesn't have only one. Okay, he has many proofs. Okay, but everything is the false proofs only. So let me move to the next question. Look at the question. What phrase is repeated throughout the poem in almost every stanza, and what is the significance of the repetition? So in this question we have to write the two phrases are repeated. Okay, so we have to write about that and we have to justify what is the significance of the repetition. Okay, what is the importance? Why the poet repeated these two phrases again and again? So look at the first point. The phrase Mccavity is not there is repeated throughout the poem. So as I told you already, 5 times, okay, 5 times end of the stanza. So this phrase is repeated. So this is to signify that Mccavity is such a clever cat that he manages to commit crimes everywhere but never leaves behind any evidences. It is as if he was never there. So look at that. So with the second point, what is the idea I want to tell you? So the cat is very clever cat, okay, the cat is very clever cat, and he could manage to commit the crimes without leaving any evidences, okay, that is the cleverness of the cat. And so now look at the next phrase. The next phrase is Mccavity, Mccavity, there is no one like Mccavity, okay. So why here the author has used the word no one like Mccavity? Because he is a criminal mastermind. He's such a criminal mastermind. So that's why the author has used the phrase. So Mccavity, Mccavity, there is no one like Mccavity is the another line in which repeated to highlight the fact that there is only one criminal mastermind, and that is Mccavity. We move to the third question. Look at the third question. The poet has exaggerated in some places for effect. So point out few such instances. Instances means examples. Okay. Write a line of your own adding to the descriptions of Mccavity using the same effect. Move to the next question. The next question is the poet has exaggerated in some places for effect. Point out a few such instances. Instances means examples, okay, and write a line of your own adding to the description of Mccavity using the same effect. So now let me explain you know very well, generally in poems, okay, the poet, they use some figurative languages and especially some exaggerated expressions, and here T.S. Eliot also, he used some exaggerations in order to express the Mccavity cat, okay. Look at the first point. The poet has used exaggeration in many places. The first one, Mccavity can defy the law of gravity. Defy means disobey. So look at that, it's a highly exaggerated, yes. So Mccavity, he doesn't obey the law of gravity. So everybody we have to obey the law of gravity. But in the poem, okay, in the poem he just used some exaggeration. The first one is Mccavity can defy. Defy means disobey. Defy the law of gravity and moves so fast that even the Scotland Yard is not able to catch him. Look at the next expression. Even the Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard means you know very well headquarters of Metropolitan Police, okay. Even they couldn't find him. Even they couldn't catch him. Such a clever he is. So this is the expression which is given in the second point, okay. Look at the next one. So Mccavity knows the answer to the question even before you have asked. But it is very tough, right? But how the person who he could know that the answer before asking a question. So but here the author, he used some exaggeration. So Mccavity knows the answer to the question even before you asked it. Okay, so this is the answer for this. So let me move to the next section. The next section C is let us read between the lines. Okay, so here the question is, why do you think Mccavity steals and commits crime? So here there are 3 reasons, okay, there are 3 reasons given by me, but you have to write your own answer, okay. This is just a sample answer only. Look at the first one. The first point is very silly reason. I think Mccavity is bored, okay, he is bored and nothing else to do. He didn't have any work to do because of that he got very much boredom. So that's why he involved in the corruption. So this is the first point. Second point, I don't think Mccavity intentionally commits these crimes. Okay, he didn't do it voluntarily because that is his nature. That is his nature. The regular activities of the cat itself, it looks like a criminal offense. Look at that. What may be regular activities for him are considered criminal offense by others because they comprise minor destruction of property and the disturbance of the people. Yeah, usually you know that. Already the 3 more examples I have given you, how he disturbed the greenhouse and how he disturbed the dog, even the larder of the place, everything we have learnt it very clearly. So these disturbances automatically disturb the common people. So that's why the regular activities of the cat is considered as criminal offense. Look at the next one. I think Mccavity is a very clever cat. he loves to steal and irritate people. Okay, that is his nature. So Mccavity is not an evil. The author has used the word, right? An evil. So here he doesn't look like an evil, because whenever he steals something, he used to share with his friends. Okay, he always used to accompany with his friends. Okay, the two agents, as I told you, right? So that's why he never can be a evil. So look at the next question. The next question is, do you think the poet is really talking about a cat in the poem? So the answer you know very well. It is a satire. Okay, satire means, okay, indirectly talking about another person. Okay, like the same thing here, the character of a real person may be given to the an imaginary cat. So look at the answer. I don't think the poet is talking about a cat in the poem. So he is probably a person. Okay, indirectly T.S. Eliot, he is talking about a person. So he is probably a person who does similar crimes. So he may be, okay, he may be a person who commits same type of petty crimes. Petty crimes means a silly, a small crimes. Okay, like the same thing. Since these acts are too petty to be termed as criminal offences done by a person, the poet makes them the offences of an imaginary cat. Okay, in order to make a satire only, so he cannot directly tell to the society, so these things and all is not a criminal offences. Okay, so in order to strengthen his point, so he used an imaginary character. Okay, finally he conveyed his point. So far we have learnt about the question and answer of the poem Mccavity, and now let's move to the next part. Okay, vocabulary junction. As I told you already, in this video you are going to learn two poetic devices. So one is alliteration and another one is assonance. So let me explain you what is alliteration. So let me tell the explanation first. So alliteration is the repetition of same sound or letter at the beginning of each or most of words in a sentence. It's very simple. Repetition of same consonant, especially consonant, not vowel sound. Okay, so especially repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of the words in a series. For example, if you take a one line, in the line, so most of the words started with same consonant letter with sound, that is known as the alliteration. We are going to apply what I have taught you now. Okay, look at that in your vocabulary junction itself. So from the poem they have taken some lines. Look at that. And when the lord is looted, or the jewel case is rifled, or when the milk is missing, or another peke been stifled, or the greenhouse glass is broken and the trellis past repair. Okay, let me stop it now. So just look at the highlighted words. Okay, the word larder, the beginning sound is L. Okay, so that is the consonant sound. Look at the nearby word looted, that is also the same consonant sound and the letter also. Look at the second line, milk and missing. Okay, the beginning of the sound is the same. Look at the next one, greenhouse and the glass. So here also the sound is the same. So the point is, if the same consonant sound is repeated in a line in more words, okay, more than one word, especially 2, 3, 4, etc. So that type of technique is known as the alliteration. This is the time to work out your book. Okay, just to start to read it. So what is the special about the words in bold? Okay, the first one, the words in the passage begins with the same letter. Larder and looted begins with the letter L. Okay, milk and missing begins with the letter M. And the greenhouse and the glass have G as the initial letter. So this type of arrangement is seen in the literary device is called alliteration. So look at the definition. Alliteration is the repetition of same sound. So let me remind you again, same sound in the sense same consonant sound, not a vowel sound. Okay, same sound or a letter at the beginning of each or most of the words in a sentence. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. Alliteration is used in the poems and the stories to emphasize on some words to make them sound appealing. in order to get some rhyming words, okay, in order to get the good sounds only, the alliteration technique is used. Here you have to remind one thing, okay, it is very important while you are finding out the alliteration. So not only looking at the letters, you have to check the sound, okay, the sound of the beginning of the words, okay. Look at that example here. It is important to remember that in alliteration, repetition of same sound is important, not the same letter, as I told you already. So we have to give importance for the repetition of same consonant sound, not for the letters. For example, look at the phrase cute children. So in this expression, the word cute also starts with the C, children also start with the C, but the sound is, first one is ik, the sound is ik, second sound is ch, children, ch. So what is the point? Reminding point is, even though the beginning of the letters are same, but the sound is totally different. So that's why that cute children, it's not considered as the alliteration. But look at the another one example, photo and frame. But in photo and frame, the spelling is different, okay, the letters are different, but the sound, the pronunciation is the same. For example, photo, frame. So that's why this phrase is considered as alliteration, even though the letter is not the same in the beginning. I am going to explain you some popular examples of alliteration. So there are 4 examples are given here. Look at the first one. The soul selects her own society. Okay, look at the repetition of same consonant sound from the word soul, selects and society. Okay, the is sound is repeated in the beginning of the words in a sentence. Look at the second example. A moist young moon hung above the midst of a neighboring meadow. So look at the, find it out the alliterations right now. Moist, okay, sound, moist, and moon, okay, the same sound is repeated, and mist and meadow. So the same consonant sound is repeated in a line, okay, especially in the beginning of the words. Look at the third example. The fair breeze. So let me repeat once again. The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow floated free. So there are 2 sounds repeated here. One is sound and another one is b, okay, consonant B. Look at that. Fair, foam, flew, furrow, floated, free. So these are all an example of alliteration, and one more alliteration also here. Breeze, blew. So both words begins with the consonant B. Okay, the sound, not a letter, sound. Let me move to the next one. Ali ate apples all afternoon. So all the words are the beginning sound of a sound. Okay, Ali ate apples all afternoon. Look at the last example. In the last example, the repetition sound is vowel. Okay, it's not a consonant, but it is very, very rare. So 90% of the alliteration sound is consonant only. So only very rare situation we use vowel sound for the alliteration. So look at the next examples. So the next examples are alliteration from tongue twisters. Okay, look at that. Seashells on the seashore. So Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. 5 fat frogs ate 5 furry flies. 6 socks sits in a sink soaking soap suds. So these are all some of the examples of alliteration. Look at that. All the words are having the beginning of consonant sounds. So far I have explained you about alliteration. Now let me move to the assonance. Okay, assonance you know very well. Repetition of vowel sounds in 2 or more words in a sentence, especially not in the beginning, mostly in the middle and the end. Okay, so repetition of say vowel sound in the middle or at the end of the words in a sentence. Now look at the lines which are taken from the poem Mccavity. So look at the highlighted words. Maccavity's mystery cat, he is called the hidden paw. For when they reach the scene of crime, Mccavity is not there. And when you think he's half asleep, he's always wide awake. He is outwardly respectable. They say he cheats at cards. So now look at the extract. In this extract, highlighted words are the examples of assonance. Okay, so let me explain you, because look at the words Mccavity, cat, caught, paw, reach, seen, always, awake, they, say. So every word, if you analyze, you could find out the same vowel sound is repeated one after another. Okay, so now look at with the help of the tabular column, you will get the clear idea. So look at the table. So in the table they have given a word as well as it's a phonetics transcription. Okay, I don't know whether you have learnt about the phonetics description, how to write it. So anyhow, let me explain you. Look at that. First one is Macavity. So look at the word, how it is written in the phonetics transcription. Macavity. Okay, Macavity. Next word, a cat. Look at that. The same vowel sound in Mccavity is repeated in cat. Okay. Look at the second row, called and paw. So both word also have the vowel sound a. Okay. Called and paw. Next one, reach, e, long e. Okay. Reach, seen. Okay. I and after two dot mean it's a long e, like a Tamil e. Okay, next one, always. Next one is always, ways. But here, awake. So both also a sound, always, awake. Okay, both also a sound is repeated. That is known as the diphthongs. Combination of two vowel is known as the diphthongs. Last pair, okay, last pair is they and say. Okay, the same vowel sound which is in always and awake. Okay, the same diphthong is used here also. So from the tabular column, what is my conclusion? Repetition of same vowel sound repeated in a line. The sounds which are in middle and the end of the word. Look at the three more example here. One is meat, and it's a phonetics transcription also written here. Next one, street, and the next one is sea. Okay, so let me conclude it now. So every examples are for the technique assonance. So because even alliteration as well as assonance, it gives a good rhythm in the poem. That's why the most of the alliteration and assonance are used in the poems. Okay, so look at the explanation. Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound in two or more words in a sentence. The word should be closely placed so as to create an internal rhyme in the sentence. Okay, so internal rhyme, you generally know very well, rhyme schemes, rhyming words are placed at the end of the lines. But if you want to get the internal in between the lines, if you want a rhyme, so only with the help of the alliteration as well as assonance can be used. For our self-analyzation, we have one more poem. Okay, the poem which is written by W.B. Yeats. The name of the poem is Byzantium. It's a very good poem. Okay, so you can apply your alliteration and assonance skills over the poem. Okay, so you can make it use of it. So now let us move to the underline the instances of the alliteration in these sentences. Now let's start to work out. Look at that. Underline the instances of alliteration in these sentences. So remind it again. Alliteration means repetition of same sound in the beginning. Okay, look at that. We are highly honored to have you here. The answer is highly. Okay, the H, highly honored to have you here. So this is an answer. Look at the next example. Lightly leap, the leaping llama. So the beginning of the L sound. Okay, lightly leap, leaping llama. So these are all example of alliteration. Look at the third one. Mom napped her knees by the nape of her neck. So the answer is napped, knees, nape, neck. Okay. The next example, she should show some respect. So the answer is she should show some. Next one, she took time to tackle the tuba. Answer is took time to tackle the tuba. Next one, unscramble the words in the bracket in order to complete the alliteration in each sentence. Find the correct word to fill the blanks. Okay. The waffles worsened while the dash waited. The answer is the waffles worsened while the waiter waited. Okay. Let me move to the next one. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her dash shoes. The answer is slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoes. Okay. So now let's move to the third question. The C question, the wicked dash of the west went her own way. The answer is the wicked witch. Okay. The wicked witch of the west went her own way. The next one, the red roses were dashed with ribbons. The answer is the red roses were wrapped with the ribbons. So look at the last one. Rudolph the dash had a red nose. Okay. Let me repeat the answer. Rudolph the dash here. Rudolph the reindeer had a red nose. So now let's move to the next exercise. Fill in the blanks with the word that creates an alliterative phrase. Okay. Here we have to add only one word. Okay. So look at that. A neat dash need not be re-knotted. So the answer is a neat knot. Okay. A neat knot need not be re-knotted. Next one. Dash on the toast and juice are joyfully eaten. The answer is jam on toast and juice are joyfully eaten. Next one. We felt dreary and dismal in a dash of the night. The answer, we felt dreary and dismal in the dead of the night. Next one, the environment needs our help. Going dash is the golden mantra. The answer is the environment needs our help. Going green is the golden mantra. Next one, the solitary reaper sings a solitary dash. The answer is the solitary reaper sings a solitary song. So now let us going to tick the option that assonates with some of other words in each sentence or a question. So we have to remember the assonance, the rules for the assonance. So repetition of vowel sound. Okay, look at that. How did you hear the hermit call when he lives on the other side of the hill? Okay, lives, hills, E sound and hill E sound. Next one, though you say dash, no good will come of it. Okay, so here the most suitable word is though you say so, no good will come of it. So and no. Next one, watch how the silly cow tumbles down the dash. Okay, so tumbles down the dash, down the mountain. Okay, down, mow. So assonance. Next one, we sang the long song for the dash. The answer is we sang the long song for the Lord. So song, Lord. So same sound. Look at the fourth question. We sang the long song for the dash. Okay, look at the word long song for. Okay, automatically the answer is Lord. Song for the Lord. So O sound, vowel sound is repeated here. So look at the E question. I would if I could, he said as he dashed by the firewood. Okay, I could if I could, she said as she stood by the firewood. Okay, so now the answer is stood. Okay, the vowel O is repeated here. So dear students, look at here, these two are your activity based question. Okay, the sixth one is your formative assessment. So look at the fifth question. Think of 5 friends and create 5 alliterative sentences using the first letter of their names. Okay, for example, if your name begins with the letter A, you have to create an alliterative sentence with the sound of the A. Okay, look at that. Ishita is eating an incredible ice cream. Next one, Meenal numbles more than my mummy. Okay, like this you have to make some sentences with your what is the first letter of your name. Okay, let me move to the sixth question. Observe a few advertisement on television and in magazines and newspapers. Find examples of 5 advertisements that have used assonance. Okay, so assonance means you know very well, interior, what is the internal rhymings. Okay, if you could hear the internal rhymings, that technique is known as the assonance. Here we have discussed and completed the poem. Okay, poem as well as the 2 techniques from the poem, alliteration and assonance. And now let's move to contraction. Okay, one of the technique which we use in written as well as spoken. Okay, that is contraction. So let me explain you what is it. So let me define what is contraction. So when words or phrases are made shorter by dropping letters. Okay, in order to make a word into short or a phrase into short, we just omit some letters in the word or a phrase. So that is known as contraction. Okay, so the letters that are dropped or replaced by an apostrophe, you know very well. Okay, if you are shortening some words or a phrase, at the place we used to keep an apostrophe. Okay, a punctuation apostrophe. So this is known as the contraction. So now you are going to know about the importance of contraction. Okay, so generally contractions are the features of the spoken language. Okay, especially in the spoken language, it is very important to be able to recognize, understand and use these words correctly in order to understand rapid speech. Okay, especially in the spoken language, the contraction forms are mostly used. And in poems and in sometimes in written communication also we use. Okay, but you have to know about what is contraction. Look at the given extract from the poem. Okay, for highlighted word especially. So the word there is contracted into theirs, and he is into his, and crime is discovered. So crimes discovered. Macavity is not there. Macavity is not there. So here the word, okay, especially the letter I is contracted. Okay, that's why they have used the apostrophe over there. Now look at the page number 76. In that you have one tabular column for words and its a contraction and its a pronunciation. Okay, so let me tell it very quickly. So the first word, they will, the contraction is they'll, pronunciation is they'll. Okay, next one, I will, contraction I'll, pronunciation I'll. Next word, does not, contraction is doesn't. Okay, pronunciation doesn't. Could not, couldn't, couldn't. You are, your. He is, his. We are, we're. They have, they. Are not, orange. Should not, shouldn't. I am, I'm. Look at that. So how the words are contracted, and for the pronunciation in the side they have given. Okay, so now still we have only one more exercise. Okay, let's complete it. So look at that. So now we have to underline the contraction as well as we have to practice the pronunciation. Okay, the first one, look at that. The first sentence actually, we'd be glad, we would be. Okay, that contraction is we'd be. So we'd be glad to help you with your work. Next one, instead of he is coming tomorrow, the contraction is he is coming tomorrow. Instead of he is coming. Okay, he is coming tomorrow. Next one, it will be easier this way. Instead of it will be easier this way, the contraction is it will be. Okay, it will be easier this way. Next one, what's happened to my pie? Instead of what is happened to my pie, what's happened to my pie? Next one, where is the chief guest? Instead of asking where is the chief guest, where's the, look at that, where's the chief guest? Next one, I would have helped you with your bags. I would have helped you with your bags. Instead of asking such a, I would have helped you with your bags, I would you. Okay, I would helped. I would helped you with your bags. And next one, I am not done with this book. Instead of I am not done with this book, I'm. Instead of I am, I'm not. I'm not done with this book. Practice it once again. I'm not done with this book. Next one, it is going to be a long day. Instead of it is going to be a long day, it's going to be a long day. Next one. So next one is she is not going to be going to the doctor. Okay, she is not going to the doctor. So the contraction is she isn't going. Okay, isn't. She isn't going to the doctor. She isn't going to the doctor. One is you were not there. Were you? So how do you ask it? You weren't there. Were you? Okay, you weren't there. So these are all some contractions we can use in our day-to-day spoken language. Okay, children, so far we have completed the poem Mccavity and its alliteration, assonance, as well as one more spoken practice, contraction also. So let's continue in the next class. Thank you once again.